Why would we talk about this on an Indigenous podcast? And I think it's important to point out, I had a conversation with Jared Ware from Millennials Are Killing Capitalism about the long history of Native and Iranian solidarity dating back to the Iranian Revolution in 1979 and in 1980 attempts by the American Indian Movement and the International Treaty Council in mediating relations and negotiating sort of a peaceful settlement to the so-called Iran hostage crisis. But also at that particular time period, there was an oil embargo, there was a so-called energy crisis in the United States. Jimmy Carter, and before him, Richard Nixon, had looked to indigenous lands to sort of offset the United States energy needs to start developing what they called at the time national sacrifice areas within the United States to effectively wean the United States off of what they considered enemy oil or enemy energy, right? And so we're in this moment again, I think, with the Trump administration, but also how this is tied into sort of the geopolitics of the energy crisis that's happening in the United States. We can see that the United States turns internally to its own resource colonies, which are indigenous nations. And in fact, these are directly linked to the United States imperial ambitions abroad. So we can't de-link them. We can't say that the foreign policy of the United States is somehow separate from the Indian policy of the United States in taking and pillaging native resources and land.